Okay, it is week 1 of NaNoWriMo and I have decided to break the like #1 guideline that everyone recommends, and I'm gonna go ahead and edit while I write this month. I am excited, I am nervous, but I think this is the best path forward. This whole NaNoWriMo for me was about, you know, getting back to classic Nano, so I feel like I'm already breaking that, but it's more because I'm taking lessons that I've learned in the past and just using what works for me. Today is Friday, November 4th at coffee o'clock, which I'm gonna need to get soon, but not before I tell you how these first 4 days have gone. Now, if you watched my day 1 vlog, you'll already know this, but I was not home the first day of Nano. Day 2 was a complete travel day, so I wrote almost entirely on the plane, and by almost entirely, it was not for very long, let me tell you that. In fact, this is what my stats are looking like so far. Crushed it day 1, you know, 92 whole words on the plane, 95 whole words on my recovery day, and so far today I have 673 words. Now, today has been fantastic for drafting. Okay, so I needed, oh, Vin is playing with her toy. I needed a name for a pilot character. I think Ryan Gosling's already taken, so I don't know that I can use that. I now finally have almost all the characters named that I'm going to need. All of the unwitting participants in this weird murder mystery. And I did just finish more or less what the first chapter is with the invitations. I'm gonna use chapters loosely here, being inspired in part by more Agatha Christie-esque mystery novels, and actually I just read a book. Here we go. Hide. This is another book where contestants are sort of picked off actually in pairs of 2. I have a lot of thoughts about this book and it did teach me some lessons, so I'm gonna circle back around on that. But it did the same thing where it's almost less chapters. So like the first bit, very short chapters. And then at the end, you just have like day 5 is, let's see how many pages. 218 minus 122. Okay, so you know, like 100 pages is this day/chapter. So the structure here feels very much the same, where the first couple of chapters are going to be quite short, and then we're going to elongate them. So I finished the first one, which was about the invitations and getting most of my characters to the location or to the plane where the first person's going to die. But what I want to do is also edit that now. Because while I filled in the names the first day, I do have quite a bit of just like uppercase, like full caps stuff. And frankly, some parts that I'd just like to expand on. Like this is currently 2,922 words. But after expanding it, I'm gonna, we'll just guess 3,500 words. Like I wanna add some more stuff in here that's not already in here. Normal NaNoWriMo, I'd plow ahead. But I've learned how I work, and I've learned how I feel post-Nano. And post-Nano, I sometimes find it very hard to read my first draft work, my 0 draft work. I don't like it. It really trips me up. I think it sets me back in a lot of ways, that plowing ahead nature, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I certainly don't want to do it for this story. Sometimes it requires it for me. Certain parts of the story even, it's better to just like get through it and come back later. But I'm really trying to work on setting stuff up for future me to like make it easier for her, you know? So this is a great time to practice that and go ahead and edit this scene and make it better. That doesn't mean making it perfect. I don't want to get tripped up on any kind of perfectionism, but I do just want to make it better than it is right now. And as always for me, the more I write the characters, the better I get to know the characters. And so I already feel like I have a pretty good grasp on some of them, and I'd like to infuse that from the very beginning. Yes. Okay, let's make coffee. Oh wow, this is perfect. We're gonna make coffee and we're gonna start over. and fix. Yes. All gone. Okay, so I had this little yellow bit that basically I made, not that part, the entirety of this out of. So 658 words to substitute the brackets. That's what I'm talking about. So I still need to go over the rest of this chapter, but like I wrote out the part that was in brackets. In fact, I believe that was the only bracket for the chapter, so that's nice. I still need to blend this bit better from here to here since I kind of went over some stuff again, but 35, 6, 7 total words. Home, update progress. Woo! I'm doing the thing where I'm fitting in the writing amongst a bunch of other stuff. So I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break for now. That whole thing though, with a slight break in itself to eat some pizza, took me like, I don't know, an hour or something. Ooh, okay, an hour and a half actually. But what I've not done yet today, and what I did not do while I was on my trip, was eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Take one of these. So I'm gonna have an extra one or two. That's probably a good thing because I'm gonna guess that I won't finish the story doing the editing while I'm writing this way. But so enjoyable. I feel good about it. I feel so much better filling that in. And I think the key here is that when I go back to it later, it's just gonna read so much better. That's really it. It's just gonna be easier to read. You know, some of it might not be kept, and in the past, that's why I plowed ahead, because I was like, I'm still discovering things, but because I did so much prep this time, I think I can keep most of it. You know, things always change, but I think I can keep more of it than I usually do. Let us go ahead and read what the prompt for today was, or the quote. Oh no, right at the library today. Okay. So I'll finish this up at the library. I'm glad I read this now before the library closed. Man. This will get me out of the house though today, which is probably nice. And I can return my library book. Okay. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. While I was on vacation, I read that book. Doink. And I also did some more plotting and outlining. One of the big things was figuring out how different people are going to die. I also don't want them to die in the same way. So it's really interesting kind of trying to build this up when you have so many characters. Like this book has a lot of characters and a lot of them do die. And I found it difficult at times to care. And I think that's the struggle with a lot of these stories. The mystery in itself will keep you going a lot of the time, but I want people to care. I want people to root for certain characters even as they potentially face up their demise, right? And so that has been the tricky bit, is planning the deaths and then also who done it. If one of them did it, if multiple of them did it. You know, there's some options here, and I know what I want to do, but it's how to show that in the most compelling way. So if I don't want them all to have the same deaths, I also need to figure out who we get to know quick enough to kill them off almost. So we're getting to know, like, for instance, we have 3 different characters that we follow in this first bit, the invitations. And the way I set it up, one of them is going to be the first to die. And I realized I needed to do it that way because I think it'll hit a little bit harder than if it was just one of the other characters here. So I'm weighing all of that with also who might have access to do the killing. So this is going to be kind of a complicated web. Yes. I'm giving myself a very fun puzzle to untangle, but also to tangle in the first place, to then untangle. Yeah, this book, by the way, just because we're going to talk books, was really interesting because I thought it was going to be something different. I realized after having gotten part of the way through and realizing that it's actually a monster book, which I was not expecting. I thought it was going to be much more like Hunger Games-y, but at a theme park. I realized I missed one part that might have told me what it was, where supernatural thriller. The rest of it, as you read, does not feel like it's going to be supernatural at all. And so I think I just like wasn't paying attention to this bit. So I was like, yeah, New York Times bestseller, blah, blah, blah. And then anyways, Kirsten White is one of my friend's favorite authors. So I was like, oh, I'll finally pick up something that's kind of in my alley. Part of this was so good. Like, I think this was one of the best, most compelling, almost prologues I have ever read. It is very short, and if you've been around this channel for a while, you know how I feel about prologues, and it was so good. And so anyways, I mean, I managed to finish the book, so I couldn't have disliked it that much. There were parts of this that were great, but I just, anyways, but it was perfect timing to read something like this, where it's not quite doing the thing I'm doing, or the thing I want to do, but is similar enough that I can see how Kirsten succeeded in ways, and also things that I personally didn't like and don't want to repeat in my own story. So anyways, it ended up being perfect for that purpose. Now I gotta figure out when the library closes. So because I'm a sucker, what I do is that if I get a little something extra, they also get a treat. Do you want a treat? Oh, do you want your treat too? Do you want your treat too? Gentle. Good job. Good job. Let's take this. I remember that today is the last day of early voting. I have already voted, but it is going to be crazy at the library, so I'm going to put a pin in the goal for today. And I will go to the library tomorrow at 10 a.m. right for a couple hours, and it'll be great. And you know what? For your purposes, let's just jump to then. Does there exist a person who can go to the library without checking out like 8 books plus the, 8 I already have? Who is this person? I want to talk to them. I want them to tell me how they do it.
We need to lose that harpoon.
I would hardly call what he does coaching.
Okay, this clock's actually wrong. I forgot to move it an hour back. Well, oh well, we'll just do this way. 9:54. I did also spend part of that last sprint looking at some NaNoWriMo goodies. But I learned my lesson from last time on waiting at the end of the day to pull my daily prompt or quote just my advent calendar. So we're gonna go ahead and do that today. I feel like this one still has 3. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I got 2. 2 for the price of 1. I think that one is chosen. All right, girls. What do you think it's gonna be? Quote or prompt? Quote or prompt? Oh, chronicle your day on Instagram. Okay. I have not used Instagram in a really long time, so this will be fun. Observe the setup on my mug. Okay, I am on the I'm on the third part, the third character right here for this chapter, and then I can move back onto the new one. So 4427. So close. I'm hoping that I will hit the 5K batch today. Very far behind, but you know what? It's fine. Should I look at my stats? Do I want to be... that's okay. Maybe I can get to half that today. I'm debating buying the winter shirt because it's super cute. And it's not delivered until like the last week of NaNoWriMo. But would it be disingenuous when I'm so far behind now? Or would that be a vote of confidence that I will catch up? I don't know yet. Woo. But I am done, and now it is all about the plane. This is also when the first death happens, which I'm very excited for, and I've introduced several of the characters, so okay. Everyone from here up has been introduced, and I'm about to introduce the pilot, who I have a catchphrase for. There are going to be 3 other people on the island getting everything prepared because they're like professional chefs and professional organizers and an assistant for the 2 of them. But the first 2 deaths are going to seem accidental. The first one more so than the second one, and there's going to be some disagreements on how accidental this one was before we like dive fully into like, oh shit, they're killing us one by one. So really this first death needs to feel accidental, but I also need to put enough intrigue in and get some of these relationships to seem antagonistic, but also get little groups of them to stay together, which I think I've already done, but I need to just continue to do that just before the first death. Oh, she moved from her unicorn. So cute. Look, just because she's cute doesn't mean you're not cute too. You know that? Another jealous beaches. Writing hack. If you're bad at coming up with titles, just ask your partner or your friends or Instagram. I asked my partner, he's actually helped me come up with titles for books before, but I asked him to help me to come up with this energy drink company, the ones who basically are sending out the invitation for this whole thing. I still had elements where I've not filled this in yet. In the first chapter, we came up with elevate. He. Elevate. Elevate is essential energy. Elevate. Essential energy. Anyway, so I got a tagline and the company name, and this is important because part of the way through on this brand trip, you know, as more and more people have died, they realize that it's not just a brand trip gone wrong, but like one of the little twists I want to have is that someone's nervously picking at the can and they basically peel it off, and it's not just elevate, it's like someone has slapped a label on a Red Bull or a Monster or something. So it's like it has all been a hoax the entire time. So that's a moment that they're like, those remaining were like, oh shit. So elevate, essential energy. I also am having them all flying into Miami, which I think is just kind of funny because the code for Miami is MIA. And then I am going to, there's a lot of islands here. I'm gonna make up a different one, like a really small one, and it's about like a 4-hour flight. So anyways, that's kind of just what I'm figuring out for the plane right there. Feeling solid, feeling good. what I hit. Whoop. 5,042. I feel like this definitely calls for an update. Hell yeah. Wait, no, show me my badge. There it is. 10% of the way there. Heck yes. I'm probably gonna write more tonight, but I do need a bit of an eye break. All right, and that is it for my first week of NaNoWriMo. It was a weird week. It does feel weird, but it feels good. And I think that is what is most important. I do have all of the enthusiasm that I was hoping I would get from starting a new project for Nano, having not done that the past couple of years. So like that is still on track. I feel really solid about the stuff I've discovered for this story, even the stuff that I hadn't planned exactly when I was doing the queried synopsis and stuff. So it's been like this perfect meld of following something pretty exactly. So like feeling like I have an outline and guidelines, like a rubric forward, but also getting to do a little bit of discovery here and there. I'm hoping that's going to maintain for the whole month, but I guess we'll find out. Vin is in her little unicorn. What a good little kitten. One of the fun things I discovered since I've gone to the library so much this November, I'm reading Shrill right now. That's what I was reading last night, and I don't know like how I missed that this was what the TV show was based off of, but I did. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. A lot of the books that I've checked out are either mystery, mostly cozy mystery, and essays. This is the thing that I find interesting for me in my writing, is that I tend not to read a lot of fantasy while I'm writing fantasy because of a fear that like it's gonna filter in and I'm gonna steal something somehow, but I don't have that fear at all with mystery. In fact, it's like I want to immerse myself in mystery. I want to watch all the shows. I want to watch all the movies. I want to read all the books. It's like I want to see how they do the twists and figure out for myself. Like it feels like getting inspiration. There's a shit ton of squirrels out right now. But please do let me know how this Nano has started off for you so far, or just how the first week of November is going if you're not participating in Nano. And also let me know if you think I should buy the shirt. Should I buy the winter shirt anyways, and hope that'll motivate me to cross the finish line? I still have hope in my heart that I will hit the 50K before the month is up. I just think I know that the story is not going to be done in 50K, and I don't think that I'll manage to write like 80 or 100K in this month. That would be, well, certainly not on this story, right? That would be incredible, but alas, don't think that's gonna happen, and that's okay. Let me know if you had any other epiphanies or any quotes that you would like to share. And let me also know if some of your prep methods are turning out not to work in the way you'd hoped. I don't know if that makes sense, but the bags have been very fun. It's a great day when it's a quote. It's not as great when it's been these prompts. I was like, I guess I didn't think about, you know, in an ideal scenario, I was just like at home and just like ready for a prompt, but day to day, that's not actually how I feel. Usually I like already have a plan for the day when I wake up, and then I get a prompt and it tells me to go to the library, even though the library is about to close in an hour. It was really fun ultimately using the prompt later on. Like I did record stuff yesterday to do in my Instagram story, but I didn't want to do the Instagram story while I was vlogging and while I was like trying to focus on the writing. So yes. Anyways, it's not quite working to the effect that I'd hoped, but I'm also waiting for the ones that I get where it's just like use fire in the story. So anyways, if you have anything like that, I would love to hear it. But thank you all so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month. Kelsey Beeson, Nancy Chen, Ashlyn, Yola Jones, Dorian, Leon Lowe, Kaylin Hessel, Sinat Ray, Emily, Holly Simpson, and Amanda Orts. Snapdragon. Thank you guys, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye.